Hey everyone and welcome. So today we're jumping into a tool that's been getting a lot of buzz lately, Peekviewer. We're going to break down a really thorough review from Hidden Pineapple to see what this thing is all about, who it's actually for, and if it's really as good as people say. Let's get right to it.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to be like an Instagram ghost? Just pop in, check out a story or a profile, and then vanish without leaving any trace you were there? Maybe you don't even have an account, but you need to see what's going on. It's that feeling of just wanting to look completely unseen.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? Instagram keeps putting up more and more walls. You're constantly hit with, please log in to continue. And it's getting so hard to just get a quick look at something without an account. This is a real headache for, well, a lot of people. Parents, marketers, or even if you're just curious. Naturally, a bunch of tools have popped up trying to solve this exact issue. And today, we're zoning in on one of the big ones that the Hidden Pineapple review really put to the test, Peekviewer. It basically sells itself as your invisible key to unlock Instagram. So what is it really? Well, at its core, Peekviewer is a web tool with one main job, to let you see all that Instagram content. We're talking stories, posts, reels, the whole shebang, without anyone knowing you're there, and crucially, without you needing your own account. And that's the million-dollar question, right? It's the one the review really tries to answer. It's easy to make promises about being invisible and getting access to everything. But does it actually work well enough to be worth paying for? Let's find out. Okay, so if you do decide to pay, what are you actually getting? The review takes us on a tour of the key features, and it pretty much boils down to 5 main things that really define the whole experience. So you've got the total anonymous viewing. That's the main attraction. Then there's the ability to get into both public and, this is the big one, private accounts. It also works as a high-quality downloader. It's compatible with pretty much any device you have. And this is a cool little bonus. It saves what you've looked at for 3 months. Now, let's stop and talk about the one feature that the review says really truly makes Peekviewer stand out from the competition. I mean, lots of tools can show you public profiles, but being able to view private accounts, that's a whole other level. It's an absolute game changer. And here is the number that just blew me away. During their testing, the reviewer found that the paid subscription for Peekviewer had an 80% success rate for getting into private profiles. 80%! That is ridiculously high. Most competing tools just can't do it. They hit Instagram security and that's the end of it. So being able to get in 4 out of 5 times, that's a massive technical win. So you might be wondering, who is this kind of tool really for? It's not just for one kind of person. The review does a great job of identifying 3 main groups that get a ton of value out of something like Peekviewer.
First, you've got parents. For them, this is all about peace of mind. It lets them discreetly keep an eye on their kids' online activity, public or private, without having to follow them and, make things awkward. It helps them stay in the loop while still respecting their kids' space.
Then you have the marketing pros. Just imagine you need to research a competitor or check out an influencer. If you follow them from your official brand account, you've just shown your cards. Peekviewer lets you do all that research completely silently, gathering intel without anyone knowing. And finally, you've got the rest of us, the just plain curious. These are the people who really value their privacy. They just want to look around Instagram without being tracked, without being logged, and definitely without being pushed into creating an account they don't even want.
Of course, a tool this powerful comes with a price. And the review looks at this in 2 ways: what it costs in dollars and cents, and, the ethical side of things.
All right, let's talk about the price tag. That 1-month plan at nearly $50 is a bit steep, no doubt about it. But the review makes a great point. If you're going to be a long-term user, like a parent or marketer, the annual plan is a much better deal. It works out to just $12.50 a month, which is a huge saving.
Now, on the ethics, this is a really important distinction the review makes. It compares Peekviewer to some of those super invasive spy apps like mSpy. But here's the key difference. Peekviewer only looks at Instagram content. It's not digging into someone's entire phone. That makes it a much, much safer and more ethical choice.
And this quote from the review just nails it. It says that with any tool like this, the responsibility is on you, the user. It has to be used ethically. It has to be used responsibly. You have to respect people's privacy and boundaries. So, when you put it all together, the features, how well it works, the price, the ethics, what's the final call from the Hidden Pineapple review? Does Peekviewer actually do what it promises?
The review really breaks it down to this.
The pros are pretty amazing. You don't need an account, you're completely anonymous, you get fast access to everything, and you get high-quality downloads and storage. The one con is a big one, but it's not actually a problem with the tool itself. It's that ethical question that just comes with the territory.
So, here's the bottom line. The review gives it a huge thumbs up. It concludes that Peekviewer absolutely delivers on its promises. They even call it one of the most thoughtfully designed Instagram tools out there for its target audience, the people who really need that discreet access.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about, right? In this world where every single click we make is being tracked, a tool like this brings up a really interesting question. What's the real value and what's the real responsibility that comes with having the power to be completely unseen?